Namaste, and welcome, beloved mighty companions, to this holy circle of infinite light. Happiness has no limitations other than the desire to experience something other than happiness, and even then, happiness is still here. Happiness is true identity, and through the collaborative efforts of beings here at the center, through their love and devotion to God, we just last night completed a new covenant, all 20 chapters in one PDF. And so we'll be extending that out through Facebook, and we invite anyone who wants to keep up to join. If you want to text us, and we'll put on the text link for updates on a new covenant for Messenger, because we just posted it out on Messenger, but we will put it out on Facebook and put it on our website, and that'll be later today. So we're really celebrating that with a spontaneous open house. Don't know if it may be, it's just such a celebration. Whatever appears is a celebration of all the love that God has for us, and we're blessed. Whatever the appearances are, we're blessed beyond all form. As we look as the light of divine being in the celebration. Perfect happiness, lesson 208. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And the joy that's unleashed by seeing how much we don't want to be infinite light. Looking so directly at this, the desire to say no to ourselves as infinite beings. And just admitting how much we really don't want to be. And letting that energy of saying no to ourselves rise up so it can be just seen in the light of truth as impossible. Even if we want it as a divine being, we want to play in consciousness for a while. They can't ever hide the light. Is the light ever obscured by consciousness in our direct experience as light beings? As much as we keep giving the devil the dance card, come dance with me, I want to play with the devil. Come on over. I want to say no for a while. I want to refuse God, everything he's given me. In the light of divine being, does that get changed by that play? The characters, all the characters on the screen, and I am not a body. Is there a body in the light of divine being? Can we find one? This is perfect happiness until the butt comes up. Then we follow the butt. But I have to be a body because there's something here. I feel something. I feel this body. I feel this chair. In the light of divine being, even if this chair is felt, does that still mean I have a body? And that's my true home. What it means is it's a desired experience to dream. All perception is dreaming, part of the dream. Yet we can be in the dream, but not of the dream. We can be perfect happiness, because that's natural. Jesus, will you show me the desire to experience myself as a body if there's any remnants left? The dredges of body identification. Jesus says sensation does not prove a body. In the light of divine being, does sensation prove that the body exists? Sensations are ideas and concepts. The miscreation in consciousness to pretend that divine being is not available always. It's just a play of magnificence, actually, just a magnificent expression of divinity that forgot that it was just a play, forgot to laugh, and then expelled itself from the Garden of Eden and said, God did it to me. In the light of infinite being, if I believe I'm a body, does that make me guilty in the light of infinite being? I am free. Is there any desire not to experience myself as free? Not to experience freedom? Show me. And even if I desire not to be free, does it make it so in the light of divine being? Every bit of energy and power that I think I have, can it still say, tell infinite being, go away? For I am still as God created me. Is there any desire to give God created me the boot? Well, how well does he? That's how funny it is. Today I gave God the boot. Let's see. That's about how futile it is to say no to divine being. No. I gave myself the boot. I'm standing outside of heaven. How did that happen? Who did that to me? Oh, I just kicked myself out of heaven. Okay. Choosing. The desire to choose to pretend that heaven isn't here. Yet, no matter how many boots, how many times we seem to land outside of heaven in the light of divine being and honesty of God. Has anything actually happened to a divine being? Oh, okay. Ain't gonna happen. So let's just see where we pretending like it is here. The peace of God is shining in me now, 188. I keep thinking Jimmy Diamond has a beautiful peace of God is shining in me now. Such a beautiful song he has for this lesson. Okay. Lesson 188. So valuable to look at these with Jesus in the light of divine being. It just have him reconfirm. Yep. You know, the great thing about Jesus, he never says, I told you so. The ego says, I told you so. Jesus rejoices. Yes, see, you're innocent. He's like overjoyed that we're recognized we're innocent. Otherwise, the ego will make you guilty. See, Jesus told you that already and you didn't listen. You weren't listening. You. Let's see. Does it? That's worth checking in on the divine light. This divine light saying, I told you so. Divine light just is. We would make ourselves guilty too. You know, it's stacking. You know, we do that little stack. The consciousness does that little hell stack. Okay. Oh, I didn't listen to God. Oh, I'm going to hell now. No, choose again. Cease to choose to deny yourself divinity. Okay, lesson 188. The peace of God is shining in me now. Is there energy to say no to God shining in me? Willing to see it. Then 1,000, but we let those buts arise. Not going to deny the buts. We're going to look directly at them and see, is that true? I'm not God because, and then just let the list run. Take it to the infinite light. Here's all the reason I'm not this. Let me tell you why I'm not light, and see how the light does with it. See how long you can do it without laughing really hard. Okay. Okay. Jesus, I'm not you because of this, because of that. But at least we're taking it to the high authority, taking it to the right authority. Because what happens, usually it's an argument in thought, trying to find the solution in thought. If I put 4 more sentences together, this is going to feel so much better because I've got these 4 sentences over here that are going to make me feel better than those 4 sentences. I'm feeling like hell. And if I could just rewrite how things are appearing, then I'll feel better. And at least this is breaking that habit to go, there's got to be 4 better sentences than what I'm hearing. It's like no sentences at all. That's happiness. Okay. Ceasing to invest in sentences to define ourselves. That feels really good. Okay. Why wait for that is such a good question. This is going to be a happy day. That's when you start laughing. Okay, let's ask that question of ourselves. Why are we? Why are we waiting for heaven? Then you start looking, there really isn't a good reason, you know, you can especially when you see you're the one that just handing over that punch card again to the devil to dance with them. Let me just give that over right now and see if he'll dance with me. So I can prove to the infinite light, which doesn't go anywhere or move, why I'm not that. Okay. Things get really funny. Okay, why wait for heaven? Okay, Jesus, we're going to need your help pointing out all the reasons. Why? Is there any reason to wait for heaven? Jesus, show me all the defenses against heaven. Deliver them all out. Oh, here's a... Every time I read this, it's brand new, like I never saw it before. It's so good. Those who seek the light are merely covering their eyes. That's humbling. Seeking for heaven. Is there any seeking energy left for heaven? Willing to see it. Heaven just is what is. In the light of divine being, do we have to seek anything for heaven? We have to go hunting around under closets, behind doors. We see how insane that is, actually. The insanity, looking under the couch, trying to tear heaven out of a brother. Swearing our brother's going to rip heaven out of us. No, we've been ripping it out of ourselves just for fun, because we can, without changing heaven whatsoever. Infinite divine being. The light is in them now. It's good to check in on the light, because we're so used to denying it. But just check in, see if it stays around, if there's bombs exploding. Boot ourselves out of heaven. All the scenarios, all the if-then, David calls them, Hoffmeister calls them hypotheticals. Infinite possibilities to pretend we're not in heaven. Does it still change that it's here? Infinite light. Every scenario we can possibly think of in the light of divine being, the only thing that's shared. Let's try to make up a scenario in which we can't find the light. We're going to laugh for sure on that. Who's doing that? And then you see nobody's doing it. Just consciousness pretending like it doesn't know what it is. Like it doesn't know what it is. Okay. The light is in them now. It's just perfect. Okay. Enlightenment is but a recognition. I mean, it starts out as seeking. It puts the mind in focus. Rather than focusing on what it's not, it's going, what the heck am I? And thankfully, we have Jesus to remind us. The symbol of the light within that we called, and pretend like we didn't call. No, I didn't call you, Jesus, go away. We called ourselves out of hell. It's but a recognition. Is the infinite light, the divine being that we celebrate here, just a recognition? Do we need something else to see that there's light? Do we need like any kind of extra decoration? That the light has come, all the joy given by the Father. It's not a change. Is seeing infinite light, does anything change to recognize light? It's so enamored. That's the lessons of Jesus. There's such an enamoring, just a love of just dancing in the changeful and going, this is who I am, change, change, change. It's loved, it's beloved more than life itself. Death is beloved more than life itself if perfect happiness is not here, infinite happiness. Light is not of the world, yet you can bear the light in you. Who bear the light? The light bearers that are all that's here, pure light. Yet you who bear the light in you are alien here as well. So instead of turning God, this infinite light, into an alien, we've turned ourselves into an alien to ourselves without anything happening. That's power. Power to deny what's always here and pretend like it's not here. Thankfully, not more powerful than the light. It's always here. The light came with you from your native home and stayed with you because it is your own. It is the only thing you bring with you from him who is your source. Is the light only thing that comes from the source? In light of, in honesty of God, in our direct recognition of it. It is the only thing you bring with you from him who is your source. It shines in you because it lights your home and leads you back to where it came from, and you are at home. This light cannot be lost. Despite our best intentions to fight the light, can infinite light To duke it out, we're going to duke it out with the light. Can the light ever be lost in our divine experience? Just why wait to find it in the future or believe it is not, it has been lost already or was never there? So it's a belief. Let's see if there's any of those little belief remnants through desire. Why wait to find, is there any desire to have a little discovery process to find myself in the future? Well, and to see that desire for that experience, to accept light. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Consciousness is so much fun to play in. I'm just going to wait for heaven. And any of that kind of energy would check in. Or believe it has lost already or was never there. Okay, the light is lost. Let's play the light is lost game. Let's see if there's any desire for the light is lost. Well, and to see that desire. To play the game, I'm anything but light. Or was never there. Light's, the light is totally missing game. Really. Let's see, Jesus. This is where the world's in happy laughter. Okay. Is there any desire, light, never there left? The slightest remnant. It can so be easily looked upon that arguments which prove it is not there become ridiculous. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, brother. Thank you, life itself, celebrating as it is. Who can deny the presence of what he beholds in him? We can try. It's only try. This is the whole limitation in egoic consciousness. We behold the light, yet we deny it. No, 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 no. Any energy of no, no, no. That's why it's so valuable to see what we're saying yes for. We're so used to saying yes and no to objects. I think I'll have this cup of coffee. That brings me happiness. It's so subtle, that play where light, when I go in the future, I will have whatever it is, piece of pizza. It's so subtle, saying no to ourselves. Sometimes it's really blatantly obvious. And then when we see the light, it is totally blatantly obvious who's saying no. Yet we can look, is there someone here who says no? Find the one who's saying no. We can't even find that one. It's not even one that's a play in consciousness. Doesn't belong to anyone. No one's guilty for it. This is God's own higher court, the light. The part of ourselves that knows. Let's try to find the one that's guilty. Let's hunt them down. Who's guilty? Can we find something that's guilty? Before we invest in the experience of guilt and denying guilt and can we actually find in the light of divine being a guilty party? Where's that one? Can we find a sufferer? Let's look for the sufferer. Where's that one? Is there anyone in there denying the light? Who's in there? There's not even anyone in there to deny light, actually. Just a play. It's not difficult to look within, for there all vision starts. There is no sight, be it of dreams or in a truer source, that is not but the shadow of the seen through inward vision. Let me read that again. There is no sight, be it of dreams or from a truer source, that is not but the shadow of the seen. A shadow of the seen through inward vision. Their perception starts, and there it ends. It's all within the source occurring. It can't leave. Let's just see if perception can take a walk outside of source. Because that's the... In the light of divine being, can anything that's being perceived take a walk outside of infinite light? Can it go somewhere outside? This is worth seeing, because the whole play of consciousness is the insistence of God that I'm outside of myself. That's the entire argument. It has no source, and he used a little, no cap there, but this. And see that those images, are those images shadows in the light of divine being? It's the shadow of death are all the images. The valley of the shadow, but it's just a shadow in infinite light. Is this the shadow, valley of the shadow of death? It's all shadows on the wall, on the cave. The peace of God is shining in me now, and from your heart extends around the world. Let's just check that out with the light. Is that light extending out of the world? Can we find a place as divine beings where the light kind of drops off? Kind of in. That's the belief. That's the investment. The desire is to experience an end, that light has ended and light is dead. It pauses to caress each living thing and leaves a blessing with it that remains forever and forever. In the light of divine being, can we see that it touches everything? The light touches and blesses everything. Can we find in the light of divine being something that the light's going, I'm going to bypass that right there. In honesty of God, like find an object in our mind that the light is not blessed, that is not full of the infinite light of being. And does that blessing of the light in every object remain forever and ever in its fullness, in totality? What it gives must be eternal. It removes all thoughts of the ephemeral and valueless. It brings renewal to all tired hearts and lights all vision as it passeth by. All of its gifts are given everyone, and everyone unites in giving thanks to you who give and who have received. So light gives thanks to all. In our direct experiences, light being shining. The shining in your mind reminds the world of what it has forgotten, and the world restores the memory to you as well. So it's reusing the world to see that it reflects back to love. It's love. It's a love letter to ourselves. When reinterpreted through the eyes of spirit, the whole world becomes a love letter. God is in everything I see. Boy, when you start to see those lessons, God is in this chair, God is in this table, God is in that mantle, God is in... I give everything I see, all the meaning for me comes home and roosts. The abject power of that recognition. From your salvation radiates with gifts beyond all measure, given in turn to you, the giver of the gift, Does God himself give thanks? And in his blessing does the light in you shine brighter, adding to the gifts you have to offer to the world. Offering only light, being and offering light. The peace of God can never be contained. Who recognizes it within himself must give it. Because you are it. It's not giving of the world. Giving is the idea that an energy can move out. This is the divine light blast that just is always shining. It's the non-moving giving. It's giving all that is at once in totality. Ta-da! And the means for giving it are in his understanding. He forgives because he recognizes the truth in him. Jesus, have I forgiven myself for what I've not done? I'm willing to see what I need to see, if not. The peace of God is shining in you now and all the living things. In quietness, it's acknowledged universally. For what your inward vision looks upon is your perception of the universe. The perception of the transformed perception to wholeness. That all is fullness, complete. No longer fragmented by identity, personal identity. Sit quietly and close your eyes. The light within you is sufficient. It alone has power to give the gift of sight to you. Exclude the outer world and let your thoughts fly to the peace within. They know the way. Even the thoughts know the way to light. It's a beautiful way of saying to no longer be guilty for thoughts. The thoughts lead you home. What's the source of thoughts? They can only come from source and stay within source. For honest thoughts, untainted by the dream of worldly things outside yourself, become the holy messenger of God himself. Thoughts of God. These thoughts you think with him. They recognize their home and they point surely to their source, where God the Father and the Son are one. God's peace is shining on them, but they must remain with you as well, for they were born within your mind as yours was born in God's. Follow all the thoughts back to the source. What's the source? They lead you back to peace from where they came, but to return you how you must return, remind you how you must return. They heed your Father's voice when you refuse to listen, and they urge you gently to accept his word for what you are instead of fantasies and shadows. The desire to experience the shadow of the valley of death. We can walk as the light in the shadow and cast out every shadow. They remind you that you are the co-creator of all things that live. For as peace of God is shining in you, it must shine on them. We practice coming nearer to the light in us today. We take our wandering thoughts and gently bring them back to where they fall in line with all the thoughts we share with God. That's a beautiful teaching of Ramana Maharshi. Gently back. Not, oh my God, I'm horrible. I had that thought. Gently back to light. What's the source of this horrible thought? And who judged it? Like Brahmana says so beautifully, if you have a cow, he keeps leaving the barn, you just remind him to go back in the barn. All the sweet wheat's there, and eventually he'll just stay in the barn. He'll wander out again. Bring him back into the barn. Here's all this wonderful wheat and water. Gently back. I used to be a thought tyrant for a while. That's a bad thought. That's a thought. That's another thought. Who's doing that? Just what happens in the play of consciousness. We will not let them stray. We let the light within our minds direct them to come home. We have betrayed them, ordering that they depart from us, trying to toss our thoughts out. To boot our thoughts is to boot ourselves. Actually, I'm seeing that now. But now we call them back and wash them clean of strange desires and disordered wishes. We give these desires gently over to infinite being. It's like the beingness can't hold on to that energy. It's just got all that suppressed energy that makes a body just has to come bubbling out. All the otherness bubbles out. I'm otherness bubbling right now. That's as good as interpretation of anything, actually. I'm bubbling out otherness because the ego's going, oh my gosh, what's happening? I'm going to hell in a handbasket. It's like, I'm bubbling out old energies of death. I'll let those bubble out. We restore to them the holiness of their inheritance. The inheritance of God, the thoughts of God. Not bad for thinking anything, just misguided that it actually is, there's a you thinking it. Thus are our minds restored with them, and we acknowledge that peace of God shines in us and from us to all living things that share our life. We will forgive them all, absorbing all the what we thought it did to us. For it is we who make the world as we would have it. Now we choose that it be innocent, devoid of sin, and open to salvation. And we lay our saving blessing on it as we say, the peace of God is shining in me now. Let all things shine upon me in that peace, and let me bless them with the light in me. The peace of God is shining in me now. Let those thoughts that thought roost in the heart. Would God, the infinite light, have us delay but in one more second, infinite happiness? Can we find in the light somewhere that says, go ahead, take a few more minutes. Go ahead. Is the light saying that? Wait for heaven, just a few more minutes more. Jesus is saying it's on now. These energies are dead. Let them go. Like Muji says, you got a dead fish in your pocket. No use carrying that around. I will be still and let the earth be still along with me. And in that stillness, we will find the peace of God. Yeah, I'm saying it's really helpful to look at how much that stillness is really, how much it really takes to deny that stillness is all there is. And the wanting to deny it. Jesus, is there any wanting energy left to say no to silence? Needs to be seen through. Willing to see any of this. And in that stillness, we will find the peace of God. What is most natural? It is within my heart which witnesses to God Himself. In the light of divine being and honesty of God, are we witnesses to God? That's all there is, witnessing to God. You know, they talk about find the witness. Who's witnessing? It's far, far more powerful to be the witness to God than witnessing in the light of divine being. Does God witness anything? Anything of this world? God doesn't know this world. Infinite light doesn't know it. It can't witness something. It can only be something. I am not a body. I am free, for I am still as God created me. To bear witness is something totally different. Bear witness, meaning not to go out and talk about the light. Bear witness, that's not what he means. It's not to go out and talk about the light, and here's the light, and you're the light. It's to bear the light. Bear witness to God, as God, bear witness. Bear the light, light bearer. Amen, to come together in this holy way, to bear light as our only function. Thank you, Jesus. Love you, Linda. From San Juan Coastal to everyone.